So, do you bring any of your performance skills from opera, do you think, into what you're doing as a performer on the internet?
I really do think that the acting skills that I learned as a stage performer have helped me out a ton. Because you kind of have to, so much of acting, I like acting seems like such a nebulous thing to people who are not actors, but anyone who is an actor can tell you that it's basically just the study of how you react to things. And so oftentimes the best way to grow as a streamer is to kind of challenge the way that you react to things and say, okay, well, why am I reacting this way? Like how can I put this into words and how can I adjust this for the next time? And so a lot of what I do in my spare time, I'll watch my own content and I'll be like, how does this make me feel? Like am I an enjoyer of my own content? And if not, what do I need to do differently? And so, I'll bring in my musical skills from time to time. I mean, maybe I'll do a little bit of singing or like play some piano for them or what have you. But largely, I think the most benefit I've ever gotten out of my opera career has been being able to sit in front of a camera and just, enjoy being there in that moment with however many people show up that day.
Right. I can relate.
A lot of reoccurring themes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, in what way, Mark?
A lot of reoccurring themes in the like moment. Very zen.
Yeah.
It's a very zen vibe where
it's very
in
zen.
The present, in the moment.
Yes.
It's the journey. Yeah. It's not the destination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's just like the content that I provide largely, at least over the course of my career, has just been sitting, playing the same game over and 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 over. And if it sounds grueling, it's because sometimes it really is. And so, you got to be willing to just kind of like see, all right, what kind of craziness is going to happen today?
You'll never be a good streamer if you don't have a curious mind. Reference.
Yes, I love that particular show. I don't know if Dr. Joe or Mark, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show I Think You Should Leave. But it's a really hilarious show on Netflix that's like becoming the new hotbed of memes on the internet.
Huh.
So yeah, it's like a guy he's like an obnoxious ass. He's like a very clearly an obnoxious ass, and he like airs all of his dirty laundry very callously in front of like his girlfriend's friends, and is like remember like that we had this argument during that one dinner where I told you never be a great writer because you don't have a curious mind, like like that kind of stuff. It's just like really over the top surreal kind of humor, but I digress.
No, I watched some of your videos, and what I enjoyed was really how into it you are and the enthusiasm, and then when there's a surprise, how you react to that, and like what just happened, like something happened that was like some huge score, or I don't know, but it's engaging. It really it's fun to watch, and you can see that you're having fun. And I think that's part of the appeal, is having a window into another human being who is just playing a game. It's really a very interesting sort of. I mean, we have professional sports. I mean, people go to watch athletes like that all the time, but they don't have that engagement with them the way you do with your fan base.
Yeah, it's something that's just really awesome. I think that's easily the best part of the website, is that you just get to you get that window into people's lives. You get that engagement. You get to just like, I don't know, like how cool is it that I've got people in this chat right now who there's probably as many different countries represented as there are people. I've got like right around the time. So the reason I stream when I stream usually 11 a.m. Central Times is when I like to start streaming. And that's because that's European prime time. And so I get all the Europeans when I first start the stream, and then they all go to bed, and then, the Americans start to flood in, and then they start, whatever they have to do. And then if I go really late at night, then the Australians start pouring in. And it's just like, I've got people all over the place. Like I've got any European country you can think of. I've got people from New Zealand, from Japan, from, I don't know how many Middle Eastern viewers I've had, or like, around that area. But, I've got people in South America, in just like, even, Canada and Mexico close to home. But
what about Asia and China?
China, they tend to have their own streaming platform. I don't know if Twitch is much of a thing in China. I know that there are a few Korean streamers, but I think they also might have their own service. I'm not okay. I'm getting a message from my chat where as Twitch might actually be banned in China.
Got it.
Yeah, there's like, the way that they have their own like media censors and things like that. There's a lot of things that they don't have over there.
I just saw an article in the Wall Street Journal that they are now mandating 1 hour per week that the kids are allowed to play video games. None during the school week, 1 hour on the weekend.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah. I mean, who knows how enforceable that's going to be? Who knows like what the actual logistics or the litigation is on that? But, I'm sure, kids will always find a way around that kind of stuff anyway. Or at least they always try to.
You would think.
Yeah. But yeah, it is kind of wild because there is such a huge culture for gaming in all parts of the globe. Like, for example, there's like to discuss, kind of go over some different genres, like in fighting games, you've got a huge scene in America. You've got a huge fighting game scene in Japan. And as a matter of fact, I think it's Iran where or no, it's not Iran. It's Pakistan where some of the best Tekken players in the entire world. Tekken is like one of the most popular fighting games ever. And there's just like this huge hotbed of Pakistani players who just like, they were super unknown and they went to the world championships and they just like the Korean community was like considered the best and they just wiped the floor with all the Korean players. And it was insane. Like it's totally out of nowhere. But like, like in China, there's like lots of people play mobile games. Like mobile gaming is huge in China. You've got like in Europe, there's lots of shooting games that are like first person shooters, like Call of Duty or Counter-Strike. Those are super huge in Europe. And like, so it's just like all over. It's like, it's almost kind of crazy to think that there's like, in the same way that each country has its own customs and traditions, each region has its own video game customs as well. And and it's kind of cool that in that this is like a world where you can kind of just like talk to people about it and just be like, hey, like this is growing up, in where I grew up, the games that were super popular were not even close to the same ones for somebody who maybe lived in Denmark, And so, it's just kind of crazy to think that you can be connected to people like that is, I think, the root that brings us all together here is that like we all just love games, and if nothing else, we can connect over that. Stretch the